What a week. Green Bay looks legit in a win over the Commanders. Kraft had an excellent game with 2 touchdowns. They're honestly just a disciplined tinkering away from being Super Bowl contenders. Parsons played great, but they did have 10 penalties. Daniels, maybe it's a more slump, but we'll see. And going into the Sunday slate, Baltimore's defense blows out Cleveland. Cleveland honestly dominated pretty much every statistical offensive category in this game, but crucial turnovers kept Cleveland away from really being competitive in this football game. Lamar Jackson took care of business. Moving into the AFC North leaders, the Cincinnati Bengals, Jake Browning relieving Joe Burrow's late rushing touchdown moves them to the top of the AFC North despite 3 interceptions. Moving into arguably the game of the day with the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Almost 1,000 yards of offense from both teams. Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson absolutely shine for the New York Giants. Brandon Aubrey, George Pickens, and Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. Beautiful sequence in the fourth quarter with Pickens' back shoulder touchdown. Absolutely beautiful ball from Dak Prescott. I usually don't have a lot to say about Dak Prescott, but that was a pretty nice throw. Then Russell Wilson, just an absolute moon ball that we all know and love to Malik Neighbors in double coverage. No timeouts left for the Giants there, and they got it done. Then Dak led the game-tying and game-winning drive in that game. Brandon Aubrey, absolutely clutch. The Lions bounce back in a huge way. Goff has his best offensive game in a 10, 11-month span. Silence the doubters from week 1. ARSB secures his first 3-touchdown game of his career. Although there wasn't much really to remark on in terms of Chicago's output, Rome Odunze, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns in the loss. Drake May picking apart the worst defense in the NFL. Special teams trading punches back and forth. 2 return touchdowns, one from Gibson, one from Washington. Made for an interesting game. Still, the jury is still out on both those teams. Except Miami, actually. New England jury's still out. Miami, they're probably done. I wouldn't expect McDaniel stays around for much longer. As for the Saints and 49ers, Rattler and Jones both had pretty solid games. This was a much better game than probably most people expected. I would assume that San Francisco probably builds off this quite a bit. They're 2-0 with 2 road wins. It's absolutely huge for them. Again, I am the biggest Mac Jones hater in the world, but I got to give him credit where it's due. He had a good game. Bills pick apart the worst offense in football and squeeze the life out of the New York Jets. James Cook had 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen's bloody nose doesn't stop that Buffalo engine from moving. There's not a team in the AFC East that's going to compete with Buffalo this year. It's their division. They might go 6-0 in that division. Completely reasonable. Joey Bosa, 2 fumbles forced, 1 sack, and 2 quarterback hits on top of that. 17 points from Seattle in the fourth quarter gives them a statement win and spoils DK's revenge game. 31-17, Seattle. They're in last place in the NFC West, and they're 1-1. Something to keep an eye out there. Rams firing on all cylinders. Ground game looked excellent today, even though it wasn't ridiculously efficient. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it was very solid from what I saw. Puka's touchdown early on really kind of helped them out in that sense, for lack of a better term. Really boosted their mojo, their juice in the run game. And then to a lack of a ground game and just really untimely decision-making all over the place from Carolina. Comeback falls up short. It's really just seeming like Bryce Young is throwing the ball to either Tet, Renfro, or the other team. He's not looking at much else. I think the tight ends for Carolina this year have 4 or 5 catches the entire year so far. So it's really not looking good for Carolina, as promising as some people thought this was going to be. It really just is not. Now, the game I really was just couldn't keep my eyes off of, just kind of peeking in and out every now and again, was the Denver-Indianapolis game. Denver lost in the worst way possible, but it was absolutely the right call. That is a leverage penalty. You cannot jump over the offensive lineman when blocking a kick. You going back to the Dallas-New York game, if you saw on Brandon Aubrey's game-tying field goal, the Giants are kind of just going off to the side, they're kind of waving their arms. They're not trying to jump over the line or whatnot, because 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards matters on a game-tying or game-winning field goal. It matters. You cannot jump over the line. You cannot commit a penalty. And it was 15 yards, and it cost Denver the game. And it was absolutely the right call. Denver should be 2-0 right now. Jonathan Taylor had a massive game against a really good run defense. I was just really disappointed in how Denver, on that last play, sometimes it is one play that loses you the game, and it lost Denver the game this week. Thank God Kansas City crumbled, because otherwise we're looking at potentially a last-place Denver team with how the Vegas Chargers game goes tomorrow. Now, going on to the Chiefs, Eagles defense dominated. Chiefs 0-2 for the first time since 2014. Turnover caused by Kelsey's juggle. Mukuba took it back, almost scored a touchdown. Great play by Simmons there to save the touchdown. But it really just swung momentum in Philly's way. Pretty emphatically into the game. Yes, the touchdown at the end made it close, but yeah, it was over after that pick. J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings could not convert a third down to save their life on Sunday night against Atlanta's absolutely monumental pass defense. The pass rush is just unbelievable now. Jalen Walker got after the quarterback. James Pierce got after the quarterback. Everybody on Atlanta was getting after the quarterback. And maybe it's just because Darisaw was out of the game, but man, all Penix had to do was just not turn over the football. And that's exactly what Penix did. Obviously, despite the one turnover from London, what are you going to do about that? That wasn't Penix's fault. 22-6 Atlanta. Atlanta looked really good. Atlanta kind of was one of the few teams that kind of swayed the momentum and they might be something. They might be something. And I really, really think we're looking at a contender here in Atlanta. Maybe not Super Bowl level, but I think they're going to end their playoff drought. They haven't made the playoffs since they blew the lead to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I really like this team. So, moving into the Monday night previews. So, the earlier game is the Tampa Bay-Houston game. I think Tampa will win that game. They're Houston's favored by 2.5. I think Tampa's going to outright win that game. And let's see if Ekbuka can keep the mojo going. Vegas Chargers battle for the lead in the AFC West. Both teams are 1-0. Chargers -3. I think I'm going to take that line. Chargers look good. Raiders trying to still kind of figure out the identity of their new offense and whatnot. hopefully Bowers is 100%, and hopefully Bowers kind of shows up, because it's not a primetime game if you don't get to watch little Brock Bowers gone. But that's it for me. Look for a mock draft coming out later this week.